All right, so before we get started in the video, I gotta say this. Racists in anime be in they bag. No, wait. Hear me out. Frieza, racist. Hated Saiyans, called them monkeys. He wanted to exterminate them. Racist, in his bag. Tobirama from Naruto, hated the Uchiha. Racist, in his bag. Geto thinks all humans are lower life forms, refers to them as monkeys, and wants to exterminate them. Racist, in his bag. You can't tell me otherwise. They all be going hard in anime. What's up, you guys? Chase the Dark Sage here, and today we are back with another video. And I gotta say that anime fans, weebs, we eating lately. Like all these anime movies, especially from the Shonen Jump titles coming into theaters, yeah, we eating. I mean, look at Dragon Ball Super, the Broly movie. Fire. That's like my favorite anime movie that I've seen in theaters so far. Demon Slayer Mugen Train. That movie was also fire. Pun intended, but that movie was good. And now we have JJK Volume 0 or Movie 0 or JJK 0, the movie. I don't really know what the name is, but I'll probably know when I make the title of this video. But we are winning, and Mappa does it again, because Mappa always brings the heat. When does Mappa fail us? And don't you dare say Attack on Titan. Do not say that. You guys be nitpicking things from Attack on Titan. That dang anime looks good from Mappa. I don't care what any of you say. But like I said, Mappa is winning, and they definitely hit this movie out the ballpark with this. And I gotta say that this is 3 for 3 when it comes to Shonen Jump movies going into theaters. But before we actually get into the video, I want to show you guys' response to my actual community post when I asked if any of you guys are going to go see this movie, and a lot of you guys had a great reception for the movie. And honestly, I was getting a little hype over that, and I couldn't wait to see it on the Sunday, which was the end of the weekend of this movie actually coming out the weekend of. And I have to say that you guys really didn't disappoint with some of your scores. I think some of your scores are pretty fair, and I really kind of like to gauge what my community is looking like on certain things that we're all going to go see or all going to go watch, or some of us all have read. But before we talk about the movie, before we talk about the plot, before we talk about the pros and the cons of this movie, go ahead, if you haven't already, like the video, share the content, hit the subscribe button, and follow me on all my other social media platforms. All my links will be in the description down below. So, let's get into it. So let's go ahead and start off with the plot of this movie. The plot of this movie starts off with Gojo bringing in a new student to Jujutsu High, Yuta. Yuta is classified as a special grade curse user because of the dangerous curse that lingers around him. While being enlisted in Jujutsu High, he must learn to master and harness this power of the curse Rika, who was once his childhood friend who died by a car accident. And honestly, for a 4-chapter volume, there really isn't that much story after that. Now, I didn't really expect much going into this since this was supposed to be just an adaptation of this volume, but I was really well surprised of how they added some things into the movie. But basically, they kept it a really faithful adaptation. And when I got back home from actually watching the movie, since I read it last year in 2021, and I forgot everything, I went to this movie with a fresh set of eyes. And when I came back home, I actually read some of the manga, and it's basically word for word, bar for bar. You get what I'm saying? Like Soulja Boy said. Shout out to that boy. He was the first to actually read Jujutsu Kaisen. But like I was saying, it's basically a faithful adaptation. So if you read this right here, you're just gonna be watching a pretty movie of all this material adapted. But there is some added material within the 3rd act, which I really enjoyed that it was added into the movie because it gave it more of that cinematic feel in that 3rd act. But let's go ahead and talk about some of the characters. Yuta is the main character of the story, and I can honestly see many ways how Yuji is based on him, from the circumstances he's put into and some of his motivations. We also have Gojo, the sensei of the year, the one person that every single girl on Twitter likes. I'm hating. We also have Maki, Toge, and Panda from season 1. And if you don't know who those characters are, I really can't give you an introduction to those characters because they have a little bit more screen time in the actual season 1 than in this movie. But when I did read volume 0 for the first time, I did like the fact that we got more screen time with them in this volume right here. So this volume actually made me like them a bit more than in season 1 because I feel like we didn't get enough story with them then. We get enough of their backstory, but not too much to where I'm like, man, I really root for these characters. The only one I'm really rooting for is Maki. Panda, he's a cursed corpse, and Toge, he's just a cursed speech user, which his power is insane. But I really do like that trio, and I'm glad that they brought them into this storyline right here. And then we have the main antagonist, the racist of the movie, Geto, who basically just wants to take Yuta's power away and eradicate the humans, or eradicate the monkeys, as he says. Him and Frieza probably are best friends. I don't know. But that boy Geto, he was definitely in his bag in this movie. He was looking drippy throughout the whole movie, and he was about that smoke. I do respect my villains that are about that smoke, that actually go out there and put their hands on the situation, you know what I'm saying? So Geto is my boy. We also get a little backstory between the relationship of Gojo and Geto in this movie as well, so you guys can look out for that as well. But I believe they touch more upon that after season 1 contents of Jujutsu Kaisen. Now let's go ahead and talk about some of the pros that I had with this movie. And the first pro, and the obvious pro, is Dark Sage. How was the animation? Oh, don't worry. Like I said earlier, Mappa delivers. This is a pretty great looking movie. If you like the animation from Jujutsu Kaisen season 1, you're gonna love the animation in this. It's just a level higher than what the animation is in season 1. And I did like some of the shots that they had with some of the characters too, or some of the action scenes in this actual movie right here. It really brought Volume 0 to life, and honestly, I really enjoyed it because, like I said, I came back home, I looked over this volume, and the movie definitely makes this thing look bland. It looks like I need to start coloring in this thing because, ooh, that movie looked good. This is an instant Blu-ray buy for your boy. I'm not going to cap. Another pro I have with this movie is that it is a faithful adaptation to the manga. Like I said, it was going bar for bar, word for word. Now, don't take me literally. They did not take every single word off the page and put it in the movie, but they were basically saying the same things that was in the actual manga. And they did add some stuff that was not in the manga, but I feel like it was needed since you wanted to make this a whole movie, and you need to make the third act feel a little bit more grand and weighty in aspect of everything. So I did like the added stuff that they did add to the movie. Oh my God, that's a lot to say. I did like the added stuff that they added to the movie. That was a lot. And that's about it for my pros, honestly. There really wasn't that much great stuff. The action was dope. The animation was dope. The story itself, we'll talk a little bit about that in the cons. But the characters, they're the same characters from season 1, so I didn't really expect them to be super different since this is a prequel, but we kind of see where they started off at. Not really, but we kind of see where they started off at. And I do like the trio of Panda, Maki, and Toge. Like I said earlier, I just like them. Now let's go ahead and talk about the cons. And just because I have things I do not like about the movie, or things I didn't really feel meshed well with me, that does not mean I did not like the movie. So let's go ahead and get into these cons. First con is that this movie is a bit forgettable. Now I don't know how this plays within the later on story of Jujutsu Kaisen, but honestly this movie was very forgettable. I feel like once I came out this theater, nothing impactful really happened besides, yeah, nothing really impactful happened. Like, you know, it just poofed out of my head. Like, I got Volume 0, and like I said, the animation was gorgeous, but it didn't wow me like Demon Slayer's animation or Dragon Ball Super's animation. And I hate to say that, but I have to compare it to some other movies to kind of give you guys a scope of how I felt about it. Like, this movie didn't really move me out of my seat, or I never really was like, oh, that was so awesome. Like, I was never like that in the movie. I was like, intriguing. That was me the whole movie. Like, the movie didn't just wow the socks off me, you get what I'm saying? Like, I was pretty tame. I was leaned back in my seat the whole time, and I enjoyed it, but I just felt like I came out that movie and it's just gonna come out my head the next day after I drink some water or something. Another con I have with this movie is that I feel like Yuta's character development really isn't gradual. It wasn't at a steady pace that I would have liked it to be at. But then again, I feel like with Yuta's character, they really wasn't trying to show or do too much. Maybe they might implement him later on within the story. I have no idea. I won't spoil that for you guys, so therefore I won't predict anything. But I don't know if he's going to come back later on in the series. I don't know if he's actually going to still be alive by the end of this movie. I don't know what they're going to do with him. Because you guys know with Jujutsu Kaisen, really anything is possible. So I'm not going to spoil anything, but I will say that it doesn't deviate from the manga that much, which is good, but it also doesn't expand on any of the material that is featured in this, except for the third act, like I said, which was more action scenes. But in terms of story, it didn't really add too much more that I really wanted to see or really wanted added from the movie. Maybe they might explore more of this since this is canon to the Jujutsu Kaisen universe. They might explore this more in later story arcs or something. I don't know. But overall, this movie was pretty forgettable. Yuta's character development wasn't gradual. I felt like the ending, like it kind of ended really quickly, but the third act was kind of epic at some points, but I feel like it was a bit too easy to defeat the main villain of this movie, you get what I'm saying? And lastly, like I was touching on earlier, this is a 4-chapter volume. There really wasn't going to be much that you could do with a narrative that's just only 4 chapters. Now, honestly, they did what they could do by adapting this faithfully, but they had to fill up some screen time, obviously. Like I said, they added stuff to the third act. But the narrative just wasn't the best for a movie itself. Like, there wasn't a gradual pace. It seemed a bit rushed. It seemed a bit incomplete to me. But this is a prequel to JJK, so they can obviously expand upon more of this. And I'm pretty sure the writers are going into this knowing that you've watched season 1, and they explain some stuff in here. But if you're going into this and you have not watched Jujutsu Kaisen, you're going to be a bit confused on some of the concepts. But they explain the concept of curses, especially since Yuta is a newer special grade curse user within this series himself. So they treat us like we're Yuta himself. But if you already know the stuff coming from season 1, then it's going to be a little bit redundant for you, I will say that. But overall with this movie, I had a fun time with it and I enjoyed it. I went with the homies and we debated about if JJK's artwork is good or bad. I am on the side that is bad. But this movie really tempts me to want to reach the Shibuya arc because I just want to have more JJK in my life. I can't wait for season 2. But the artwork isn't the best. And then I got to wait for all the volumes for the Shibuya arc to come out because I want to read it all in one go. But if you guys see JJK Volume 0 or JJK 0, the movie, whatever they call it, let me know in the comment section down below and let me know your favorite part of the movie without saying big spoilers. Obviously we know he has to fight somebody at the end because there wouldn't be a movie without him fighting somebody at the end. Do not say what happens to any of the characters at the end. Just tell me some of your favorite moments from the second act or the first act. Like I said, thank you guys for watching, and I gotta give a huge shout out to my Patreon pledges for going ahead and financially supporting our channel. Guys, I highly appreciate what you guys are doing for me, financially donating on Patreon, and I gotta give a huge shout out to the YouTube members for also financially donating on the YouTube side of things as well. And you know I gotta give a huge shout out to Brokewood Gang, the people that are supporting me all the time. Before we head out, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about some spoilers. That's right, I said it's spoilers. If you have not left yet, this is your only warning. I will be talking about spoilers in 3, 2, 1, let's get it. Now, some spoilers I had in the movie, which really had to come from the end, was Yuta being revealed to be this descendant of the super powerful Jujutsu sorcerer. I was like, so he's basically kind of like the chosen one? This was prophesized? I kind of hate that when they do that in anime. Instead of making the main character a hard worker, they just have some cop out saying, oh, you really got this from your great granddaddy because he was super powerful as well. I'm like, you kind of take away the greatness from the main character when you do that. Don't do that. Just make him great on his own. Make him seem powerful on his own. Another thing I have to add is that Yuta really pieced up Geto. Geto got pieced up in this movie. He got packed up. Like, they smoking on that Geto pack because, woo, that boy ain't there no more. I feel sorry for Geto. No, he called us all monkeys. Well, I'm a Jujutsu sorcerer, so y'all guys are monkeys. I'm not monkeys. But he called all y'all monkeys, but man, they really did that boy Geto dirty. But Geto, he was smooth. He was suave in the movie. I was like, dang, I'm feeling my boy Geto. Hey, maybe we all are monkeys. I don't know. And the last spoiler I want to talk about for this spoiler talk is some of the fights that they added within the third act. Now, I hated the fact that they teased me with some Toto action. I want to see my boy Toto, my favorite character, in action. He left such a great impression on me in season 1. I thought I was going to see him in action. And when I saw all the familiar faces from the Jujutsu High tournament, when I saw all of them, I'm thinking, oh, we going to see them all fight. No, we didn't. I mean, they weren't in the manga, but I also didn't want to see them on screen if I knew they weren't going to go fight. What are y'all doing, Mappa? Why you doing me like that, man? Why you teasing me like that? That's not right. We also have Nanami in this movie, who was not in Volume 0, but whoo, when he went to overtime, when he took that tie off, because he was just done, he had to handle some business. Trust me, that boy Nanami handled that business in his cleanest business attire. You get what I'm saying? My boy Nanami always comes to put in that work and to give that work, if you get what I'm saying. Let's move on. And then the last thing I want to talk about is Gojo in this movie. Now, in the original Volume 0, they only show him doing like 1 or 2 moves throughout the whole volume. Now, in this one, he pieced somebody up. He really put them paws on somebody. And I was like, hey, yo, they really made Gojo a beast in this one. I mean, Gojo's a beast already as it is, but they really wanted to show you that Gojo could show out. And the piece that they did add in here, oh my God. I feel sorry for the guy that was having Gojo touch his fist to their face. I was like, yo, Gojo ain't have to do him that dirty, dog. He on that Geto pack. Why you piecing up my boy like that? No, if he pieced up Geto, that would have been raps, because Geto acknowledged in the movie that Gojo was already as powerful as he is, that he's just too strong, that he can't take him on. But that's about it for the spoiler talk. Thank you guys for watching. Dark Sage out. Peace.